So here's the pockets that we've finished tonight. This one's got the stamps in that I put in earlier. This one can have just a bit of scrap paper that we mopped up from. And that one. Just to give you an idea of how I do it. Little piece of card in there. Card in that one. We'll have scratching of paper in this one. And this one here is the one that we did at the end, which was the trial and error one. And what has happened is we have got one pocket there, one pocket there. So that looks quite nice. And these are just some little paper tags that I've made with the scrapbooking paper on them. So that's like that. I might even go a bit further and punch a hole in that and have it as a hanging pocket, or it could go into a journal or an altered book as a flat pocket like that. So the other day I got to thinking about Happy Mail and what I send out, and I've got loads and loads of scrapbooking type paper and really nice paper, but I don't tend to ever use it to its full potential. I might send a bit in some Happy Mail, I might use some in a project, but I don't really use much of it. So tonight what I've done is I've used scrapbooking paper and an old map page to make a pocket to go out in some Happy Mail. And what I usually do is I pop some stamps or some other bits and pieces inside the little envelope, so that when I make up a Happy Mail parcel, the little pieces stay together. And these are quite good for putting die cuts in or anything like that, and it's just nice to put them in your envelope, and when the other person gets them, it's just something handmade. You could also use these as an ATC card holder by measuring it and making sure that an ATC will fit in. So there's hardly any measuring involved in this because I'm not a great one for measuring. I do a lot by eye, and because I use quite a few old book pages and things like that in my art, really there's no standard sizes for anything. So first of all, a page out of a book, and this is from an old map book that I picked up in a charity shop, and I've quite butchered it around a bit, so there's still a few pages left in it. So depending on the size of the paper depends on how big you make the pockets, I suppose. What I tend to do is do everything by guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half roughly, and this will make 2 pockets. If I was being economic, it could even make 3, but I'm not. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly sort of see where 1/3 of the page is, and if I can imagine my page into thirds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fold line where I think 1/3 is. So it doesn't have to be massively accurate because you're working with just folds of paper, and if you look there, that's not far off. It's not exact, but it'll do. So I'm not exactly an exact type of person. And then what I will do is I will just fold these down towards the fold. Now with this pocket here, this one is going to be the same as the one that I showed you earlier, so that when it's folded, is this the shorter one? I think it may have been, was it? No, this one was. When it's folded, it will make a pocket. Okay, now as you saw, I think I misfolded, so I'm just going to trim that bit off there. Accuracy isn't the key to doing this, it is just basically by eye. Now if you were making this for an ATC, you would obviously have to have it exact, but because I'm not, I don't. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, with this one, I'm going to put a piece of scrapbooking paper at the bottom of it. Now the scrapbooking paper is only that size, so that's as high as it can go. I can either have a long tall pocket with the scrapbooking paper there, or I can do as I'm going to do and snip about 1 inch off, because I want the scrapbooking paper to just come up halfway. Like that. Right, the next task is to emboss this. Now, trial and error, because I've done quite a few of these. If you leave it folded and put it into an embossing folder and run it through your Big Shot or your Cuttlebook, what will happen is when it comes out, you will have a line running across the back, because this piece here will show, it'll like be an embossed line. So like I say, through trial and error, I found that if you open this out, it's better off to be put through the Big Shot. And this piece here, it's better to put this through separate. So I've got my embossing folder here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in. I've unfolded it so it's just flat, and I'm going to run this through my Big Shot. The way that I do it, I've got my platform, my rubber mat, my embossing folder, my plate, which, believe it or not, snapped on me the other day, so it's part of the plate, and then I run another piece of card through mine, just because if I put this across, this is too thick, the next platform is too thick. So I found, once again through trial and error, that the best thing to do is to put a spare piece of card. But with your machine, you will know your own machine, and basically you'll know exactly how to run it through to get the best embossing. And once again, it's all trial and error, isn't it? You can just keep trying it until you get a nice embossed pattern. And if you can see there, I have got a very nice deep pattern. Right, let's do the piece of scrapbook paper now. And that, and put it through. Wobbling about on the table a little bit. Sorry about that. And there we are. You can't see the embossing very well on this one because of the pattern. So because the scrapbook paper's pattern's really got a dark pattern on it, you can't see the embossing. So I'm just going to use some distress ink and rub over the top to bring out that pattern. Now, if you notice, and once again, these are many trials and errors of mine, one side, because I've folded it, one side has got circles on it, the other side, it's the flat part that is picked up by the ink. So this is embossed the other way because I folded it in half. So that looks quite nice, doesn't it? And then bring my pocket in. And with my pocket, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit lighter distress ink because that's very, very dark. So with this, I'm just going to rub this over, and you'll see that it's only this part that I'm bothered about, because the other part is going to be folded in. And then this side here. There we go, nice and covered. Right, let's just wipe up on here. Once again, a trial and error in the past has got me being a bit more careful with cleaning up, because quite often I ruin what I've been making by getting ink or glue or something like that on it. So here's our piece. These are the pieces that are going to be folded down. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along the top of here with a bit of dark ink, just so that those edges are going to stand out a little bit. So, no need to do the others, because we can do any others that we want to do when we're finished. Right, was that the way that we folded it? I think it was, yep. Okay, now we've got this piece here. I'm going to put the flat side with the circles dinted in on this side, I think. Or maybe not. Let me have a look, let me make a decision. No, maybe that side. Okay, and I'm going to mark down with my thumbnail just where the edge is, and then snip that off. I don't want to snip too near to the edge, because if I snip too near to the edge, it won't be a pocket, it'll be an open-sided piece. So just snip that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some white glue and my synthetic camel brush, which still quite amuses me. Synthetic camel. And I'm just going to coat the piece of scrapbooking paper with the white glue and put it all together. So I'm putting white glue on the scrapbook paper, some white glue on this part of my pocket. Move it so that you can see what I'm doing, because that's where the fold is coming down. And then I'm going to fold my paper up. And there we go. One pocket finished. For this one, I've chosen this pattern, which is quite nice. So I've got the bottom piece this time, and once again I'm going to roughly fold it. I don't know if I'm overly keen of that. I think I might do it this way, and then that side's showing, yeah. So once again into rough thirds. Doesn't have to be too accurate. Now this time I'm just going to fold down the corner like that. And on this side here, I'm going to fold down the corner as well. Might have to just change it up a little bit when it goes together so it doesn't look silly. No, do I like that? No, don't. No, I don't think I do. And the best bit about this is you can change your mind, because it's only a piece of old book paper. I can change my mind and make it look however I want it to look, can't I? So that's better, I like that better. Just a tiny little bit of sheet. And then this scrapbooking paper. It's going to sit to there, or I trim this down. I think I want the scrapbooking paper to come over that corner there. So once again, I'm just going to trim a bit off. See how that fits. Ah, that's right. That'll do. So once again, I'm going to emboss this, and then we'll come back and finish decorating it. Okay, back again. I've just run this one through the Cuttlebug. Just in a little bit. And also this. You can only just see the embossing. But it will appear before our eyes when we use the distress ink. So once again, I may need to use the darker ink on this, or not, as the case may be. Maybe not. Maybe not. Not on that bit anyway. We will see on this bit. Not on this bit. You can't really see this ink on the back, but am I too bothered? I don't know if I am or not. Maybe not. Because that is the back. Right, let's have a look at this piece of scrapbooking paper. I'm going to have a try of it with the lighter coloured ink, because it is a lighter paper, and see what it looks like. I think that actually looks alright. Now, because I've folded it once again, it gives the opposite embossed pattern, which I really like. I actually like that on this paper as much as that. Right, let's fold it up and see what we think. See if we need to put the darker ink on it or not. As the case may be. Is that the way it's folded? That way. It's a bit pale on here, but I think I can live with that. Now, should we put that on? Or that way around? I think that way around looks best. So we'll white glue it and see what it looks like. Don't tip the white glue all over my table. My workspace is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as everything's like coming in. Right, so we'll just put some glue on this part here. Just wait for it because the dog's come clattering into my room, so chances are she's going to knock the table flying. And no, both dogs now are, no, the dog's in my face, deciding that she wants some attention, so the whole of the table is going to go jiggly jiggly jiggly. So, and then just putting the glue onto here. Nice even covering of glue. And this is going to go up over here. And glue like that. Now if you can see, there's a little tiny bit of an overlap there. So I'm not overly bothered about gluing my scissors up. I shall just trim that. And there we have it. Another pocket. Quite like that one. The pail with the map. I'm just going to straighten this one up a little bit. Being so concentrating. So I'm just literally doing these, folding them over. Maybe a bit further than that. Maybe a bit less. Just so that when it comes to it, put them together into some little pockets. That's better. And because you're folding them, you don't have to be that accurate, because you can take up any discrepancies with the folds. So I just need to choose 3 pieces of paper to go with these. So these 3 pieces of paper have been embossed up. The maps have been embossed up. So I'm just going to continue and give them a rub over with the ink. I'm quite liking the paler coloured ink at the moment, just because I think it looks a bit better on the maps. But my ideas might change, and I might decide to use the dark one. Who knows? That's it. It's one done. That's definitely going to need the darker one, 100%. This isn't. Maybe that's, I do that as the inside, but then whichever way I do it, I'm still going to have the really dark map to cover a lot. Just fold it down a bit more. At some point I'm going to have to cover the dark map on this one, so maybe I will need to use the darker one. If I do it that way in, then I'm not covering as much of the dark map, am I? Decisions, who knows? Maybe I'll do the dark one. See what I think. I quite like that in the middle, because that is actually totally different, isn't it? Decisions. We will see. I think the darker one. Too late to go back now. Much too late to go back. We've committed and done. And this one is going to have the dark one too. No two ways about it. That's what's going to happen. And really only need to do the top bit, because the bottom bit is going to be covered up in the scrapbooking paper. There we go. And that. And then we've got the scrapbook paper, which the darker one, I'm going to use the darker. Like that. I do like that. This one I'm going to use the darker as well. I'm going to have to use the darker because the lighter won't even cover it. That's it. And this one. Because I've used the darker on the map pages, I think I'm going to have to use the darker on that. And just darken up this one. Originally I hadn't wanted to use the darker one too much, but needs must. Okay. Now, if you notice on here, I've got lots and lots of dark ink now, and I don't really want to waste that by just wiping it off. So I've just got some water spray here, and also I'm just scrabbling for an old book page. So I've always got plenty of old book pages. I'm just going to spray down and then pick up that with a couple of book pages. Waste not, want not. And if you can see, that's it. And then we'll just give it a wipe off. So in the last type of pocket, there's absolutely no measuring, nothing, just pure trial and error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this up just about that far. There is literally no reason for why I folded it up that far or that, other than when I fold it up and like that, it gives me a pocket size, and then that gives me another little pocket size there. So that's literally what I've done, that and then that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, using the offcuts from our other project, some of them have got a bit of sticky glue on them, some of them haven't. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a top sort of opening pocket. So I've got that there. I'm going to put a piece of scrapbooking paper around the bottom like that. Yeah. And trim it. So that's going to go around like that. And then I've got these two other pieces, both of them different. So this one will go on here. Yeah. And that one go on the top. No, maybe that one will go on there. So this one will go on here like this. Just fold it in half. That one will go on there like that. A bit straighter. So, and then this piece will go over the top like that. Maybe that's a bit deep. We'll see. And over that edge there, like that. Maybe. Let's glue it together and see what it looks like. synthetic camel hairbrush. I love it. I love the idea of a synthetic camel. Making that into a narrow piece there. Oh my goodness, I'm all fingers and thumbs. I can't seem to get glued today. That's it. The wide one at the top, maybe? Who knows? At this moment in time, this one is a pure trial and error, no mock-up, just basically jumped in and did it. So there we go. Right, I'm going to trim these edges off now. Looks a little bit confused, doesn't it, as to where all the pockets are. But I think if we put something in each of the pockets, we might be all right. Down a little bit like that. That's it. So there we have it, like a 2-pocket holder. Corner cutter. Doesn't cut very well when it's soggy and wet, but that's it. Should we cut each one of these as well? Maybe not. Right, and then all that's left to do is just glue it up, which we can do with white glue or we can do with a glue stick. A glue stick might be better because it's a little bit easier to get it glued up on each side. There we go. Thanks for watching. If you're in any of the Happy Mail groups that I'm in, you never know, you might get one of these from me when I send out my next lot.